Well, folks, here we are again. It's time for the weekend forecast and the lookout for the next 7-day period. But before we get to that forecast, let's talk about what's happened during this past week. We did see some warm, windy conditions develop during the early part of the week with some scattered thunderstorm activity, but with the main focus of precipitation was in the Wednesday to Thursday time frame, where we've seen a cold front slowly move across the state. The best precipitation reports that we've received so far is from central through northeastern Nebraska with 1 to 1.5 inches general coverage. As you move south and east of that region, we didn't receive much in the way of any significant moisture. In fact, some places of southeastern Nebraska didn't receive any precipitation. West of the cold front that moved through, we were looking at lighter precipitation amounts, generally less than 1/2 inch, and that covered a good portion of the panhandle in the western 1/3 of the state. Now, as we go forward through this next 7 days, we're going to deal with some heat, some cool conditions before we start to see return of heat during the later part of next week, but that does provide us with a couple of chances of scattered thunderstorm activity. So let's get to the main forecast, and as we go to the upper air models, what we are going to notice is there's a broad upper air trough to our west. It's going to start to move toward the northern portion of the plains, and it's going to drag a cold front through the state. So for today, we should see warming conditions across the entire state. We'll be looking at highs in the low 90s across extreme eastern Nebraska. As we get to western Nebraska, before that cold front comes through, easily should make it into the mid 90s and possibly even upper 90s to low 100s in a few isolated locations, with thunderstorms developing, particularly in western Nebraska during the overnight hours and then spreading eastward across northern Nebraska during the overnight into the morning hours of Sunday. Now, by tomorrow, what we're going to look at is that there will still be some residual moisture across Nebraska, so we have the chance for generating scattered thunderstorm activity, particularly across the southern half of the state. More organized convection is possible across extreme northeastern and northern Nebraska, all the way up into eastern Montana. Temperatures are going to cool across the northwest to the low 70s, and in southeast Nebraska, in advance of this cold front, we should still make it into the low 90s. Now, as we get into Monday, we'll notice that system moving its way into the western Great Lakes. The cold air remains across the Dakotas and extreme northeastern Nebraska, where we'll be looking at highs in the mid 70s. Farther southward, we may make it into the mid 80s with just a slight chance of scattered thunderstorm activity. And as we get into Tuesday, we'll see pretty much a zonal flow in the upper atmosphere across Nebraska, which means temperatures will be pretty consistent from the previous day, looking at mid 70s across the northeast to the low 80s across the southwest. Now, as we go into the day on Wednesday, we see another trough going to rapidly move through the region and bring in much cooler air into our state. We'll be looking at a chance for scattered thunderstorm activity across northern Nebraska, spreading south and eastward as the evening progresses. Best concentration of moisture will be toward north, unfortunately. We'll be looking at highs in the mid 70s across the north to the mid 80s across extreme southwestern Nebraska. On Thursday, the cold air starts to pivot down in our region. The moisture starts to move eastward. We'll see temperatures in the mid 60s possibly across northeast Nebraska with low 80s across western Nebraska. And by the time we get to Friday, we start to see warming conditions in western Nebraska with low 90s, but we'll still be stuck in the low 70s across the 8 to 14-day forecast indicates warmer temperatures moving into our region. In terms of precipitation, a definite dry trend moving in.